Welcome back to the Concussion Protocol Podcast, everybody. This was a very predictable weekend in college football, all things considered. Not a lot of upsets. I guess the ACC is the only one that is prone to upset. Chase, do you have a delicacy?
Frozen carrot.
Chase is making good on his wheel span live on camera.
This looks
Baby
gross.
food popsicles. He's going to be munching down on what flavors you got? You got carrot? I see a sweet potato in there.
No, this is carrot.
I thought I saw you got a couple on that plate, I thought.
It's already melting. It actually looks like a frozen carrot, like quite honestly. It was liquid
Do you know
when
how
I
this
put it in
wheel
the
spin came
tray.
to pass?
Because fucking Utah beat ASU.
No, not that. Like the idea of that one.
No, but I'm going to eat this because it's melting.
So I was forced to go to a baby shower. Yeah, you can eat it while you're doing that.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah. I was forced to go to a baby shower for my baby. And they fed me and made me guess what flavor of baby food that I was eating.
Oh,
Great. And so you had to bring me into this?
Yeah. I was like, this
Why
is
are you
disgusting.
looping me into
Somebody
this?
needs to eat this frozen.
somebody else has to know my pain. I have a feeling I'm going to get something prepared for me on Thanksgiving. Not looking forward to it. I have
Yeah, you
I'm
just
gonna
make
get
it
a different
cranberry.
appetizer than everybody else. Everybody else is going to have like a nice, pecan something salad. I'm going to have pureed peas. What you got there?
What's this flavor, Chase?
Apple.
Well, that's
I
not
bet
bad.
apple's okay. It's just like applesauce.
I got that to level out the carrot.
You know what?
That one
one's
was
worse?
terrible.
Yeah, the carrot's pretty bad. Peas are pretty bad
What?
too. The peas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made.
So
They're not
of course
good.
the only person that doesn't readily have baby food in the house had to go get baby food for that.
I don't
And
think
somehow
any of us
beat
have
the
it
other
anymore.
person that had that as a punishment. All you need is an ice tray and some toothpicks, Connor. Get to it. Also, the apple would be good, but it's mixed with the carrot at this point, so it's not good.
That's a
Yeah.
very different flavor. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the carrot being bad.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good.
Well, thank you.
Thanks a
Thank you
lot,
for being the
Utah.
only one who's a real man on this show. Anyways,
Wait. Did you say that you got that for Utah losing or beating ASU?
Yeah.
Then doesn't Connor have that same punishment?
yeah, that's why I
Yes,
just said
and
I'm
he
probably
hasn't
going to
played.
have some. I imagine I'm going to get.
You
this-
haven't. Wait, you've got this one too, and you have to do the frozen meal.
Yeah. He rolled
Man.
2 in a row.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna buy some pea, and we can make Connor do the pea.
Yeah, I think Chance is coming over for Thanksgiving.
have
and
to buy
I have a
pea?
feeling he's been pretty generous. You guys can see I'm giving you a little bit of a preview. Repping the Aggies tonight. It's a good time. While Chase enjoys his appetizer, his hors d'oeuvres, we're gonna do our speed run of the most boring conference in college football. We're gonna do our week 13 recap. It's gonna go pretty quick tonight because an entire conference had a bye week, so there's really nothing to talk about. Alabama and Ty Simpson set records. Did you hear that the beat down that they put on Eastern Illinois?
I don't want to talk about them. They snuck into the top 10. We have 1 week for them to screw it up against Auburn, or we're
I'm
screwed.
telling you, if Auburn,
In every metric, they're in the top 10. By the way, every metric.
can we
Yeah,
bring
well, we
Cam
said
Newton
total
back?
defense. So get that shit out of here.
Oh, no, you
You know
didn't. No, you didn't.
Yes, we did. You asked.
No.
I said total defense, and then you complained. It's total defense. And if Auburn screws that up for him this week, you're screwed.
We'll
and you
see. I don't
can't do
remember
that. You've only
but we'll see.
spun once. I don't want to hear it.
I don't remember saying
He's
total
got-
defense.
He's
We'll
got
have to go back and see.
pureed carrots in his mouth, and you're still trying to kick him while he's down, Chance. Give him a
Yeah, they're
break.
trying to come back up right now.
Oh my gosh. All right, let's get after it. The Big Ten speed option. We're going to run through these quick little highlights. Illinois had just gotten a little bit of their street cred back in eyes of the committee and followed it up by being one of the only teams in the country to have the honor of losing against Wisconsin. Not only that, it wasn't even close. 27-10, that's a rough score. We're on both now of Ohio State's best wins, allegedly, have now lost to one of the worst teams certainly in the conference, possibly in the country. A team that, let's go back and remember that Miami, Ohio held Wisconsin to 17 points, although in their defense, Wisconsin did pitch a shutout. But that's not really much of a flex when you can't put up more than 17 points on a MAC team. Nebraska also returned to form. Good job, Nebraska, for remembering who you are, getting back to your roots. Blowout loss against Penn State. Good on you, Penn State.
Are you happy about that
going to
one,
be
Connor?
bowl eligible? Does Penn State have one more chance to get bowl eligible now? Am I doing the math on that right?
I think
Are they
so.
5-5 or 5-6 right now? I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had the 3 wins against nobodies, and then they have the 2 wins in conference now. So
yeah, so it's coming down to the wire for Penn State. We'll see if this Nittany Lions squad somehow pulls out a bowl game. Ohio State. Could you guys believe what the Buckeyes did this weekend? I mean, what a dominant performance over what Dan Lanning described as a very competitive conference opponent. In Rutgers, held Rutgers, the Titans of New Jersey, to a mere 9 points, three field goals. Just another reason why Ohio State should absolutely be the number 1 team in the country. I mean, I don't know what everybody else was doing this weekend, but nobody else beat Rutgers by 40-something points. So I think we can all shut our mouths now. That's what we can do. Iowa over Michigan State, another very unimpressive win against an unimpressive team. Iowa, man, how do you get such good recruits and you have so much fan investment? You are so beloved, and you just every single year cannot get anything done moving the ball forward. That team has lost all the wind out of its sails. That's all the minor victories. Let's go a little bit more in depth. The one interesting game, the biggest ranked matchup, College Game Day, came to Autzen Stadium. And this time, Oregon won. Last time the cameras were on them, they did not look that good. Even though this was the biggest matchup, and I guess you can technically call it a statement win by Oregon, it still was an incredibly predictable game. We all 3 said the exact same thing last week, that Oregon was going to be able to stop USC just a couple more times than USC was going to be able to score. And that's
not all of us said that.
Nope.
Who was the one who disagreed? Chase, was that you?
I'm sorry, but that was not a predictable game because they won on special teams, Connor.
It was exactly what happened. They won by 2 scores.
You predicted that they would have like a 70-yard punt return touchdown, and then on the ensuing
prediction
drive
was that they would have a comfortable but not blowout win because both have good offenses and one has a slightly better defense. There was some craziness.
Didn't win that game. Their defense didn't win that game, Connor. Their special teams or USC's special teams lost them the game. They gave up a 70-yard punt return touchdown, and then on the next drive for Oregon, they were kicking a field goal on, I think, 4th and 7 maybe. They kicked the field goal, missed, but some idiot jumped over the long snapper and gave them a 15-yard penalty, so they get a touchdown 2 plays later instead. So that's 14 points on the board because of special teams plays. So nobody predicted that.
Did you see what happened before that kickoff? That kick?
Which
Oregon had like
return?
Oregon had like 3 15-yard penalties off of stupid stuff that they did to themselves.
No, they did a ton of stupid stuff to themselves, but then they're handing it to you, USC, and then you're like, I could top it, guys. Watch this. Jumps head first over the long snapper.
I was surprised this wasn't getting more attention. Did you see the USC acting in a typical USC way where Oregon got a pick in the end zone and the guy like ran off to go celebrate with the student section and the USC player like came up behind him and shoved him into the wall like on the opponent's bench? I don't think they even called a flag on it, but the guy was like getting in his face. Just one USC player in a sea of Oregon, just giving this guy the business for picking him off in the end zone. It was embarrassing. Pretty typical.
Of course, that's the one thing Connor picks up from the entire game.
I don't know. I watched the whole thing, and I felt like it was exactly as Chance and I predicted.
Well, I mean, the impressive thing for me is that Oregon didn't have any receivers. They were picking people out of the stadium to go run routes for them, and they still won. So, I mean, it was USC at least didn't bow down. They didn't get blown out. But yeah, Oregon definitely was the superior team. It was at
They
home,
put up a
but
good fight
yeah.
for sure.
At the end of the day, when your team's doing that in the big games, that's coaching. So the reporter that gave that really passive aggressive question to Lincoln Riley saying, "How does it feel that Oregon fans want you to sign an extension at USC?" And he got really butthurt and gave a really mean comment, like, "You're stupid, nobody loves you" type response to them. I was like, yeah, Lincoln, there's this thing you could say to questions you don't want to answer. It's called no comment. Just you don't have to answer it, buddy. You don't have to.
He gave him the old "no you."
Does the truth hurt that much, Lincoln? I'm
He
sorry,
basically
but
said it was the stupidest question he's ever been asked, or something like that.
He said you
Yeah.
shouldn't even have a job. He just, it was kind of
Well, I think, I mean, they should have handled it definitely with more grace. I think half their players didn't go to the field to shake hands. They just left after the game. But I mean, I think USC knew what that was. That was their chance to the playoffs. If they didn't win, they were out of the playoffs. They knew it. And when they lost, they were a little sour for sure. But I mean, kudos to Oregon. That was their way in. They'll get in now. And USC, that was their way out. And they're done. It's toast.
Oregon could still choke technically.
Oregon
Against
does
Washington? Yeah.
They could.
They
It
can.
is possible. It is entirely possible.
This committee, let me tell you, I don't believe that they would actually let them out.
If they lost to Washington, a Washington team that lost to Wisconsin, I don't know about that one. Maybe.
You would think.
I don't know. They
but
played Ohio
I'm going to
State.
go on a rant later on this committee.
I have
Don't
a
worry.
feeling.
Washington played a game against Ohio State. That means their strength of schedule is top 5 in the country easily.
Yeah.
You think Florida has it hard? I don't even want to hear about how hard Florida has it. Washington played against the Ohio State Buckeyes. It doesn't get harder than that.
Yeah, they lost all the other games they lost just because they were thinking of the Buckeyes.
Big question coming out of the Big Ten. Rivalry weekend is loaded. And one of the biggest questions is, can Michigan keep their streak alive? Michigan, who definitely... Now, we've been pretty clear on this show all year. We don't think that Michigan is necessarily a playoff caliber team this year. Vastly improved over last year, but still definitely in the second phase of their rebuild. They might be scary again next year, but obviously not quite there this year. But this team is definitely more dangerous than it was last year, and Ohio State looks to be equally, if not slightly less loaded than they were last year. Michigan, this game is going to be anything, and we'll get into the breakdown of it, but the big question for right now is, if Michigan beats Ohio State, then assuming that the others went out too, Indiana versus Oregon would then be the Big Ten championship. If the math is holding up, right? If Oregon loses to Indiana without Ohio State playing in, do all 3 teams still get in, or would the committee bounce Oregon for a second loss and keep Ohio State? How do you guys honestly, genuinely think that scenario would go?
This committee would keep all 3.
I agree. I would like to think that they would bounce Oregon, but I don't think they would. Especially if it's a close game.
Well, would they keep all 4? Because obviously Ohio State's getting in, right? Ohio State gets in. They're not in the championship. So Ohio State and the winner of the game, Indiana, would get in, right? Now it's between Oregon and Michigan. Oregon, who lost in that championship, and then Michigan, who's sitting at 2 losses with the best win in the country, according to the committee. So do they give all 4 teams from the Big Ten a bid, or do they kick one of them?
3 get in. I don't know about Michigan, but there's a chance.
With Michigan with 2 losses and a win over the number 1 team in the country?
Are you going to kick Alabama out?
Ohio State, man. They beat Ohio State.
I mean, the obvious answer is Notre Dame, but this committee will not let Notre Dame out. Period. No circumstances is Notre Dame not going to be in the playoffs.
Jeremiah Love is second in the Heisman contention right now.
I don't know where that came from. He wasn't even in it a couple days ago.
I know.
A couple weeks ago.
I like him, but if Ashton Genty can't win the Heisman as a running back, you can't give it to him.
I think they want to keep the streak going. I believe the stat is every 5 years, so 2025, 2015, every 5 year has been a running back as.
Oh, really?
So 2015
obligation.
was Derrick Henry. So yeah, I swear they're just trying to do that because
2020 was Devontae Smith or something like that.
Every 5. So not every 5 years, but every 5.
Oh, not every
year
okay.
of so like
26,
2025, 2015, 2005.
Gotcha.
Those ones. But I think it was Derrick Henry in 2015. It's so they might just want to do that because honestly, I swear they didn't even have them in like the top 8 last week, and then they put up 70 on a terrible Syracuse team, and they're like, Jeremiah Love, man, number 2.
I could see them. The real answer. You're right, Chance. The real answer would be to bounce Notre Dame and keep Michigan. And as much as it would pain me to see the only 4 good teams in the Big Ten all make it, just because it's so light that the math works out, I would like to see Michigan, but I have a feeling they'd keep Michigan. They'd keep Notre Dame and bounce Michigan because they're not getting rid of Alabama unless Alabama loses the Iron Bowl this weekend. That's the only way that they're getting out is if is by that. That's the only way.
Well, I mean, there's a high chance, maybe not high, but there's a decent chance that Alabama plays in their championship game.
Yeah, if they win.
So if they lose that, that's going to be pretty questionable.
Yeah.
There's already a lot of people freaking out about the hypothetical loss.
We give a really hard time to the committee. In this scenario, these scenarios that are about to play out. And let me reiterate again, it's only getting this bad because the Big Ten is so top heavy, because there's no depth. That's the only reason this is happening, because they don't play each other. They put themselves in this position, but I would not want to be on the committee trying to split these hairs, because it is a hair splitting kind of deal. There's no two ways about it. You got to make some really, really hard decisions, and it's going to make a lot of people
They're
mad.
going to hate. Someone's going to hate you anyway. So I would love to be on the committee to tell them that
you're
Alabama
too nice, Connor. I'm not as thrilled.
I'm not saying that they're going to make smart choices. I am just saying I don't necessarily want their job.
Mark Harlan does.
All right, Big 12. This was probably the only interesting conference this weekend, and even then, there wasn't a lot of craziness. There was a little bit that could have been crazy. Some teams were really flirting with craziness. BYU did not have a flashy win, but it was definitely a solid win. It was not, and Cincinnati is still a good team. They have not been able to put together the strong finishes to the performances that they've needed against the higher levels of competition. But they are not a team to be taken lightly by any means. BYU. Chance, this is your team. I'm not going to take away the opportunity to talk about them from you. So go ahead. Tell us what you saw out of the Cougars.
Well, I think kudos to Cincinnati. I think they played really well. Came in with a good game plan. And honestly, if it weren't for really bad mistakes, it could have been a closer game, or even Cincinnati's game. I mean, their kicker, who had made 24 of 25 kicks before that game, missed 3 in that
3.
Yeah, it was nuts how he was missing them, and I don't think there's wind or anything. It just croaked under pressure. So that was unfortunate. They had some turnovers in unlikely places. So I mean, they played very, very well. I can see a little bit better now how they have their record. So kudos to them. But the reason why this BYU team is so good is they're opportune. They know where to get their opportunities. They take advantage of them, and then they win. They probably could win in more exciting fashions, but the way that they play is, hey, you give us an opportunity, and we're going to beat you because of it, and we're going to win. And sometimes that's how Cincinnati plays, right? They're not as turnover prone, but they had to. Just BYU's better at that game. You can't play that way with BYU. But BYU, they played well. I mean, LJ Martin is the story of the game. He's a beast. I mean, there was one play where it was early on. I think there was 5 minutes left in the first quarter where he was running to the outside, and I think he needed a first down, and he was maybe going to get there, and there was a defender there, but he just stiff-armed the crap out of that guy. And there's so many slow-mo replays where you watch, and people are just literally bouncing off of him. He is so much stronger than he looks. And I mean, I think he's a Big 12 player of the year on offense, one of the top running backs in the country. Bear was down his best receiver, and so it was LJ Martin time, and he can carry the load for sure. So he played well. BYU, some of the surprising things the second half of the season, their linebacking core hasn't been as exciting as they have in the past. I don't know if they're still feeling injured, if they just haven't had their opportunity to shine. But it's really been, the secondary's been great. Tanner Wall, another interception. But the defensive line, that's where you didn't have that at the beginning of the season. And now they're looking pretty good. And honestly, seasons to come, they're looking like they could be a really dominant force there as well. Yano Tanavasa had a really slow start to the season, and all of a sudden he's on a tear. He's been doing really well. So if you're BYU, you've got to be excited because it's not just one part of the defense. It's not just turnovers that are causing you to win. It's the whole defense now that's kind of coming in a line right at the right time for the playoffs. And well, maybe the playoffs. We'll see. You have to be Tech to get in, but we'll talk about that. I do want to shout out one guy in particular. I struggle with his name, so I'm going to look him up really quick. Sorry, guys. Number 5. What is his name? And he's new. He hasn't played as much, but they're starting to give him some playing time. I don't know if they're trying to keep his red shirt or not. Quite possibly. Man, I'm gonna have to. Oh, it's 55. It's John Tomopeo. That guy is looking real good. So Cougar fans, watch out for him. He's doing well. But overall, pretty good game. Unfortunately, you didn't blow him out. I don't think it matters. We'll get into that. But good game.
Another solid performance, and we've been saying this for several weeks now, that BYU has really been noticeably gelling on both sides of the ball. A rough one against Texas Tech, of course, but they do look improved coming out of that, and they have not played slouches of teams since then. And I forget who said it, was famous for saying it, but it might have been Saban. But there's a saying in college football that you don't want to play the same team twice in a season. And
it was Saban.
It was, yeah, and that might be the case here. So now there is still work to be done this weekend for sure for everybody. But right now, it still appears that Tech and BYU are the class of the conference.
Well, so sorry to cut you off, Connor, but listen to the stretch that they just cut off. And BYU plays UCF, and Tech plays West Virginia. So I would be shocked if it's not a rematch. But BYU just got over a stretch at Arizona versus Utah, at Iowa State, at Texas Tech versus TCU, at Cincinnati. That's not a bad stretch solid by any means.
No, that's not easy. None of those are gimmies at all.
Yeah. So
yeah, if they keep their wits about them, they should have zero issues with UCF this weekend. And if that's the case, I mean, good.
You could play your third stringers and you'd blow out UCF. They are
UCF
getting
is
blown
not
out
a good football team this year.
They are getting blown out.
Barely beat Oklahoma State. That was a close game.
And what's funny is that UCF blew out North Carolina, and they're literally getting kicked by every team in the Big 12 by like 40.
Yeah. It's rough.
What's that say about
rough
the ACC?
To be an ACC team. That being said, we got to talk about the rest of the Big 12. We just have to. We have to talk about Arizona State. And I am not here to brag about the Sun Devils. They took 3.5 quarters to finally put away Colorado. That was the closest 42-17 victory you will ever see in college football. I was biting my nails in typical cardiac Kenny Dillingham fashion for the first 3 quarters. Malik Brown, though, finally coming into his own. One of the best single game performances out of a running back in ASU history as far as pure rushing yards. I think it was 288 rushing yards or something like that, including one run of 60, another touchdown run of, I think it was 88, just something nuts like that. He got a little bit carried away, no pun intended, and tried to hurdle a guy after a 14-yard first down gain for no reason whatsoever. Fumbled the ball, had a nasty fumble but thankfully, as
nobody even touched him either. He fumbled the ball.
Nobody he just even let go of it because he was trying to brace himself too early. It was not a good play, and it gave the ball up. So it probably, that game was less that Arizona State was failing to score, was that it was ASU just kept not finishing, or I guess rather it wasn't that Colorado was so close to competing with ASU. It was that ASU couldn't stop turning the ball over. If this was any other team, ASU very well may have lost that game, but Colorado is so bad. That's a bad football team. I think they dropped to 3-8 on the year. So there's a good chance that they go 3-9, 9-3, then 3-9 in 3 consecutive years. Which I guess for Colorado, it's either have the Heisman winner or you were just abysmal. Like, I don't know. We'll see how the Browns do with Shedeur this Sunday for the second one in a row. I can't help but notice that everybody's like, oh, Shedeur just had his first start. And yet I haven't seen a single stat from him. So must not have been that impressive, but I think they still
got the win for the
like
Browns.
he had like a 60-yard pass. Granted, he passed to him 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage, but it was a 60-yard
his biggest
pass.
highlight on the game was a screen pass that just happened to get a good block.
In all fairness, though, he actually played well. Like, he had a good pass to somebody, and Jerry Jeudy just like inexplicably fumbled it to lose those yards for him. So he actually played pretty well.
Hey, 75% of Tom Brady were check downs too. So
yeah,
you can't give him too much.
Right. Anyways, yeah, Colorado's a terrible team. Jordan Tyson was back. He was limited. He was definitely limited. He wasn't explosive the entire time. He only had 2 catches, but both of those catches were really, really good catches. He looked like he was getting his sea legs back a little bit, and then so it's nice to have him back. Sims, whatever. I mean, he was okay again. He looks more comfortable, but he's still just, for some reason, he's either throwing the most perfect dime balls, threading it into teeny tiny windows that you can barely see, and he's putting it there perfectly, or he's just like missing wide by 10 yards and throwing an inexplicable interception. I don't know. He's the guy, though, right now. He's who we've got. So going into this Territorial Cup, I have no idea what to expect. I'm very glad it's at home, but I have no idea because Arizona looks out for blood right now. I'll take this win. 8-3, feeling good, at least as of right now in this moment. I'll let you know here in about 3.5 days how I'm really doing. I'm not even going to get into the percentage possibilities of whatever. There is just this weekend, and that's all that matters. There is one game left.
4% corner.
Okay, yeah. I said I'm not even getting into it because I didn't want to talk about it because I understand how tiny, teeny, itsy bitsy the odds are. I'm not talking about that.
Hey,
I'm talking about the one game that's coming up.
If it makes you feel better, Utah has 3%, so you're above Utah.
Woohoo! Great.
Percent above Utah.
Yeah,
we blew you out by
so
40.
What you're saying is we have 30% greater odds than Utah?
I guess. 30.
Yeah. Woo! All right. Okay, Chase, I can't stomach talking about these guys, so go ahead and tell us about how incredible the Wildcats did this weekend. Sorry, the Mildcats did this weekend.
Oh, sounds like the comments in our chat. Awesome. So
we were lit guys, up with Nogales Tech people this weekend.
For reference, someone who went to ASU for 4 years and the person who went for 1 year who doesn't want to talk about the Mildcats.
Oh, Year and a half.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Math's not my strong suit. I went to ASU, even though I passed Calc 2. Anyway, U of A. Connor, I'm really sorry, man. I'm so sorry. U of A looks good, dude. They're coming into their own at the end of the schedule, at the end of the year. If I was BYU right now, I wouldn't want to play them. If I was Tech, I would be like, if I was playing on the road, I probably wouldn't want to play them either. If their fans actually showed up, I would not want to play that, even as Tech. And Tech looks dominant in the Big 12. They are scrappy. They are so scrappy, and their defense is scary right now. Literally, it was almost mirroring the ASU game, except like a slightly earlier. Baylor is just driving down the field and just pick six, and then score, and suddenly it's like a 40-point just like absolute throttling. Like that, it changed so quick, and that was against. While Baylor's defense is atrocious, Baylor's offense is great. Sawyer Robinson has over 3,000 yards on the year right now. It's better than most people in the Big 12, if not all of them. He's been fantastic. He made that bad pick there, but U of A made him look silly. He made their whole offense look silly. I think they limited their best receiver like 1 or 2 catches too, Trigg, and he was amazing in that game against Auburn, even though they lost. Like
Trigg's a grown man, dude.
Yeah, that dude's huge, and I wouldn't want to be the one tackling him. And Arizona did great defending that team and making them look like a JV team. So I feel bad because I really wanted Baylor to do well this year, but U of A. I said at the beginning of the season when they were struggling against Kansas State, I was like, I never want to watch this team again. But that game, that one was a pretty fun watch, even as an ASU guy, dude. That was a fun watch. They were destroying him, man. It was wow. They scored. They scored 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns in 4 minutes.
Yeah,
4 minutes.
Yeah, it was Baylor has really fallen apart and down the stretch of this season, and Arizona genuinely is one of the hottest teams in the nation right now. They're playing with a crap load of confidence, and honestly, they're playing well above the skill level that's on their team. Like, don't get me wrong, Noah Fafita is a great quarterback, and he had a rough year last year, but the rest of the team is playing well above their what should be their ceiling, and I am, like I said, gonna be probably very quiet, and I'm gonna be locked in a room where hopefully nobody can hear me unleashing the storms that are gonna come out of my mouth the day after Thanksgiving. I'm gonna forget all of that gratitude real fast when that game comes on. But
I don't even like turkey anymore. Wilbur ruined my year.
Yeah. Dude, but that's enough on the state of Arizona.
I forgot to mention they scored 3 touchdowns in 4 minutes. They almost scored 4. they had like a I think it was like a 70-yard rush touchdown get called back on like a hold. They almost had 4 in the span of 5 minutes. It was bad.
Yeah. It was rough. It was rough to be a Baylor Bear, and it's there's a lot of confidence surging through North Nogales right now. It's making me a little scared. Utah, though, you want to talk about someone who got scared this weekend? I would be feeling so much better if Kansas State had any form of clutch in their bones. You put up 7 points on Utah. You were leading the whole way. How many teams in this conference, especially teams that I really care about, really needed Utah to get some breathing room? But Kansas State can't do anything when it comes to the clutch moments. With 1 minute left, they couldn't hold them to a field goal, send it to overtime. You allow 51 points, but you also, the one night that Utah decides to rest their entire defense, and they have Salt Lake City Junior High School trotting out on the field to play linebacker for them, that's when you still can't have any form of defense on your 51 points. They didn't put that many points up against ASU. And that was like one of the biggest blowouts of the entire year, was that game. Oh my goodness. Do you have any pride at all, Kansas State?
I don't know what is more insulting, honestly. To be a defense that is notoriously good and give up 471 rushing yards in a single game when you're supposed to be one of the best defenses in the Big 12. Or being the team that put up 471 rushing yards and still lost. How? I mean, I know it's because they only threw for like 100 yards. Good job, Avery Johnson. But and their wide receivers, obviously. But oh my God, dude, that's embarrassing all around. Super fun watch.
That was old school Big 12 action.
Super fun watch. I'll say that. But like,
Chase, I got an answer for you, and I got an answer for you, Connor.
Okay.
You want to know what the answer is?
Go ahead.
This game was stolen from us. We were excited to be in the Big 12, but not today. We are not excited to be in this conference. This game was absolutely stolen from us.
Is that to quote the athletic director?
Yes.
The athletic director.
In reality, if you guys watch that game, if Kansas State fans feel that way, and I know a lot of Kansas State fans do, I don't blame you. I saw what you saw.
There was a lot of questionable calls at the end of that game. Even some of the spots. Some of the spots were terrible. Even you're like, where was that guy looking at? Yeah. Like obviously it was very ASU-esque. Like they're on 4th and like inches to give up like a 60-yard rushing touchdown right there for Kansas State. But like I don't know. Like there was some terrible calls in that one.
Big question coming out of this weekend having to do with that game with this Utah team. They still won and had their best offensive performance of the year, but did this poor defensive performance Do you think this is going to be enough to reflect, like, is the committee going to have so much bias that they would remove Utah and put in, let's say, a Michigan? If Michigan has the win over Ohio State but still doesn't make the conference championship, how do you think that they would take it that much in a bubble and make that big of a deal about it, that they would limit it?
I think certain credit needs to go to Utah for finding a way to win that game, because that game was over. To find a way to win that game is impressive, but also, I mean, the committee just doesn't penalize for that kind of stuff as a certain team. Because you look at Texas A&M, there was no penalty for almost losing that game. They were down 30-3 at half, and they came back and won. So I don't know. I mean, I think Utah isn't really in the mix. I thought that they might be, unless something crazy happens this weekend. It doesn't matter anyway. They're not in the mix. But
that's not what some Utah fans think in the comments for some
I know.
reason.
And that's what
they
I
think
thought
they're going to play Oregon
but
and beat them.
Yeah, it's over.
I think that the committee is the committee, but I think that game did affect the way the committee is looking at them, because you could have argued if the certain teams won that are supposed to win and then the other teams lost, I think Utah and BYU could have snuck in a certain way. But because of this and like Utah's defense looking that weak against a Kansas State that's struggled so much, I think that's really hurt their chances. And I think because BYU has that close win against Utah, that it hurts BYU's chances because of that as well, unfortunately.
Maybe. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me at this point. There's tons and tons of games that you can look at that weren't penalized or that were looked at favorably. You look at Texas versus Mississippi State, and they weren't penalized for that. You look at Notre Dame versus BC, one of the worst P4 teams. They weren't penalized for that. So, I mean, I can see the committee penalizing it because it's the name Utah, but it would be BS in my opinion, because they've overlooked so much other games like that.
One thing though, you said Texas A&M wasn't punished for the South Carolina loss. How would you have punished them? Move them below Georgia, who has a loss?
I mean, it's true, but they still weren't punished, and I just named like 3 other instances that were the same thing. I mean, that game was as close as that Texas A&M or that Texas Mississippi State game, and Texas was not punished for that. So, I mean, again, it wouldn't surprise me. This committee does things that they say they look at some things and then they don't actually do that. So it wouldn't surprise me if they do, but they've already set precedent that they don't care about that.
We will.
Come on,
we
Tech,
will
rest
see.
your starters. Rest your starters.
We'll see how it all shakes out. We do have one more weekend to get through, one more chance to prove yourself. The biggest thing that is helping the Big 12's chances of having 3 teams in is that the last remaining conference that we haven't talked about is so bad that they're absolutely only getting 1 team in. And frankly, they should be thankful this weekend that they have a team that is by law gonna get in, because nobody really deserves it out of the ACC. You think okay, we'll get to it. There is one team
not get into the playoffs. I'm just saying.
There is one team that I gotta walk back. I gotta eat my baby food popsicles on. Georgia Tech is exterminated from my goodwill and from playoff contention and from having any form of pride in themselves. Haynes King is still should still go in probably the 2nd or 3rd round of the draft. He's pretty good, but this defense has fallen apart and looked just silly. The whole team looked bad against Pitt. They almost kind of came back to make it a little bit of a close game, sort of, but then no. They just, I mean, it was awful. It was just pitiful, no pun intended. And I mean, I guess, but it's too little too late. I mean, for you to get good, Pitt, like, don't act like you're a playoff team all of a sudden when you still got 3 losses. Like, the ACC is just a joke, and I am regretting ever putting my faith in Georgia Tech, because they're just bad. It would take the greatest collapse in Georgia football history in a single game to put the thrashing that they put on Texas 2 weeks ago if they managed to lose to this rivalry game just because it's the rivalry game. Their defense is god awfully bad. And Pitt, I mean, has a route to the conference championship game You know, they gotta win this weekend, and or they play in Miami, I think, and then they need a couple other losses. What's that?
They need help.
Yeah, they do need help, but there is a possibility.
Virginia,
we haven't mentioned Pitt. What's that?
Duke still has a possibility. By the way,
that's how bad the ACC is.
Shut up, Chance. You weren't supposed to know that.
Yeah.
I do know that.
Duke
as far as Cal beating SMU.
Duke needs Virginia to lose to Virginia Tech. They need SMU to lose to Cal, and then they need Pitt to lose to Miami.
You know what would be crazy is SMU has a legit shot at the title game. SMU could be the one to repeat as playoff contenders in spite of the year that they
just have to win.
That's
if
all
they beat Cal.
They got to win this weekend, and then they got to. Which they looked good last weekend. They looked really good.
They have to beat a Cal team that just got blown out by Stanford.
Yeah, could
you make the ACC championship? They're based. They should be in, but it's the ACC.
It's the ACC. You never ever know.
But they should be.
How crazy would that be for Miami to start off like 6-1 or whatever nonsense they were, and then collapse so hard that 9-3 SMU beats them in the conference championship and repeats as playoff contenders?
Miami's not going. Miami's not going to the ACC championship. They've been in the ACC since 2004. They've never won an ACC championship.
Oh my gosh, how the mighty fall. That's disgusting.
Never.
Yeah, there's not a lot else to say on the ACC other than they are just bad. And they're not that fun to watch because they are sloppy, and the few good things that you can say about them are not any more special than you can say about anyone else in any other conference. And there's a lot of
throw something out really quick?
Go for it.
Let's presume that SMU wins it. SMU is not in the playoff rankings as of right now, but 2 G5 teams are. Does SMU bounce above those 2 G5 teams?
They're not.
They'll lose the playoff spot.
If SMU loses, SMU wins this weekend and then wins the ACC title, they'll absolutely sneak in at like 20 or something like that.
But you have to be ranked higher than those G5 teams.
Not if it's the 5 highest ranking conference champions. And there's not 2 conference champions from the G5 that are going to be ranked higher than them.
Madison and North Texas both are right now.
North Texas.
Well, okay, so North Texas, yeah, and I guess they are, yeah, so Sunbelt and America, was that American? UNT?
And even Tulane, I think, is ranked above them.
Yeah.
I
believe it's Tulane and UNT.
We have to prepare,
but you don't think that SMU would, if SMU wins their next 2 games, including the championship, you don't think that they would jump someone like a UNT in the rankings because they're from a Power 4? I'm genuinely asking. I'm not making the argument.
But in my opinion, the conference championship game, if UNT gets in there and wins, they play a higher quality opponent than the ACC championship game. They have to play Tulane, right? And Tulane's ranked.
That would be fair.
They might just slide James Madison under the rug there.
They might.
I could see them do it because, and you could make the argument that it's because James Madison lost to an ACC team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's fair, but I am saying them's the breaks sometimes.
I'm just throwing it out there that there is a more and more real opportunity that the ACC gets out. And especially like the crazy scenario that Duke gets in there and wins, the ACC is toast.
No, they're definitely out if Duke gets it. No.
Yeah, if it's 7
Can you imagine Duke, who's barely bowl eligible?
ACC. They lost to UConn 2 weeks ago, man. They get it. Yeah,
that would be a 7-6 Duke squad. ACC champion at 7-6.
It could happen, guys. I'm telling you, I predicted this.
They'd be 1-4 and 1-3 out of conference, but 5.
Insanity. That's how wide open that's how bad this conference is. Craziness. Let's go ahead and talk though about the G5. James Madison with a win over a Power 4 team. I mean, I guess, do you want to call Wazoo a Power 4 team? It was close. It was very close, but it's a win. It's a win for the Dukes. They're 10-1, man. What else do you want from them? They're playing the hand that they're dealt.
I don't even blame them, dude. James Madison, Washington State went on the road against Ole Miss and Virginia in back-to-back weeks and kept it close with both of those teams.
Yeah.
So them keeping it close with James Madison and James Madison pulling it out, I see that as a win for not just a win, but like a win in the eyes of the committee for them.
That means that James Madison, by the transitive property, is on par with Ole Miss. I'm just saying.
Obviously, but they won the game, and I truly thought, I was like, oh no, we said they were doing good, and they started to fall apart.
By that transitive property, Ole Miss beat LSU, and Alabama also beat LSU, and therefore Ole Miss and Alabama are the same, and therefore James Madison is on the same level as Ole Miss and Alabama.
And by that transitive property, Oregon State beat Washington State, so they should be in the playoffs too.
So the SEC championship game is going to be Texas A&M versus Oregon State. There we go. Just so we're all totally clear on that.
They already won the Pac-2, so they might as well try it for something else.
Oh my gosh. North Texas, another 10-1 team right now. This Mestamaker kid. So they have the fifth worst scoring or fifth best scoring defense, but they are putting up points on everybody, everyone. And there's the offense wins games, defense wins championships, but their offense might be enough to win this game. And you want to talk about teams in this country that are playing with confidence right now? The 0-star recruit who walked on at UNT just because he needed somewhere to throw a football around. This kid is fun to watch, and he is playing with all the confidence in the world right now. And sometimes that can be enough, especially in these smaller conferences. Like, I'm excited to watch the way that the group of 5 finishes, at least in a couple of them. The Mountain West is dead to me. I mean,
which school do you think that dude's going to? Mustamaker, because he's getting poached. There's no way he stays.
I don't know. He basically has his pick of the litter. Honestly, I would like to think that he would go somewhere like the Big 12. I would like to think that he. I mean, I could see him going somewhere like Arizona. Filling in for taking over after Fifita leave. I mean, I'm just talking about landing spots.
Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you even manifest that?
I'm not saying I would be excited about it. I'm just saying.
That was the first team that came to your mind. Well, you're like, yeah, my rival could get that.
I'm trying to be objective. I'm trying to be a host over here. I am capable of having an objective conversation. I'm trying to think of
places to Colorado or something that's not as threatening.
I don't know if someone like Miami would pick him up. I don't know if anybody in the SEC would pick him up.
What about
the problem?
A Virginia Tech or something?
That's what I'm saying. I'm thinking the Big 12 or the ACC would be the most likely landing spots. He could do worse than a Washington, though. He could do worse than Michigan State.
Washington has somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Yeah, they do have someone they were kind of invested. He could do worse than Maryland, I guess.
Maryland has somebody as well.
Well, but he also he could go a lot of places.
Maryland has a true freshman that's doing well. But you're naming places that could be possibilities.
Okay, which is why I named a place off the top of my head that was the most likely to have a quarterback vacuum: Arizona and then Miami.
Clemson.
I want him to do well.
Needs somebody. Cal's going to lose their QB, so they could poach.
Absolutely.
Clemson, yeah. Well, the problem with Clemson is Clemson doesn't really accept transfers. I mean, Dabo might finally be so desperate, but yeah, it's the kid is making a name for himself, and they. I don't know if you heard his story, but the main reason that he wasn't recruited because he was putting up numbers never mind. Was he the one who was, I forget, there were 2 quarterbacks that I think they were 2 different people. There's one that he was small. He was only like 6 foot, 155 pounds or something like that. And so he wasn't considered big enough to be able to play in college. And then there was another guy that didn't even start a varsity game. And I want to in high school. And I want to say that was the UNT guy.
Yeah,
I can't remember the same person. But either way, he's making a name for himself now for sure. We'll see. The conference or the AAC has been all over the place this year. Navy looking better than I thought they would, certainly way better than I thought they would. They got Memphis this weekend, and so we'll see how that plays out. Go ahead, somebody talk about UNLV, and is it going to be UNLV versus SDSU? I'm thinking
Boise State has their tiebreaker.
Yeah, because they beat UNLV.
Boise State's got more conference losses, though.
No, they don't.
No, they're tied.
Boise
they have
State's
more
sitting
losses.
at I thought Boise State was sitting at like 6-4 right now.
They have 2 losses out of conference to USF and Notre Dame.
That's right. They actually are still in the mix. And SDSU also has 2 conference losses.
Because they've all cannibalized each other too.
Oh my gosh, I hate the Mountain West this year.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. UNLV putting the hurt on Hawaii at home, going to, what are they now, 9-2? I mean, all right, Dan Mullen, whatever. Okay.
I was very thankful for that game too, because Florida State found the most dramatic and stupid way to lose their game when I had flipped my pick for them at the last second. And then UNLV came in clutch and really screwed you guys over.
I hated that pick so much.
Like, just that one, Connor? Connor, how'd you do this week?
I did not have a good weekend. I think
congratulations to Connor for having the worst week he's had the entire year in the second to last week.
I'm like the Arkansas of picking football teams right now. Just no clutch time in the end.
Like, dude, you never even, I don't even think you went even once. Like, you've never even gone to 500, and this time you actually went below it. So you had a super impressive season until this week. You gave up like a 7-point lead in the last 2 weeks to Chance.
Ugh. Poor Chance just did really well.
Chance did do really well. He's 8-3 this week.
Goodness, yeah, that's rough.
If Houston knew how to, Houston would go for the throat instead of running it up for a field goal. So yeah, Connor, I hate them too now. I hate them too now. They should have won that game.
Best kicker in the country and can't beat UNLV. Whatever.
The second they were doing that, too, scrambles for 60 yards, and then they're like, we could go for the touchdown and the win, but we could kick a field goal and tie it, right? And then they just get to the line all slow. I'm like, they're going to miss this kick now. Shanks it. I'm like, awesome. Good job, Houston. Would have been the best season you've had in forever.
Yep. Not to be. Yeah. We've been saying it every single week, but it's because it's true. The football world is wide open, and I am very, very excited for this. This is rivalry week, Thanksgiving weekend. The holidays are setting in. I know that Chance has been slamming his pumpkin spice lattes every single day without fail, and it's a good time. It's a good time to be a football fan. Let's wrap up before we get to our final week of the regular season. Let's wrap up this recap with a little look to the future. This is Chance's Stock Futures.
You're not even going to give me an opportunity to complain about the playoff committee?
Chance, this is your segment. You can complain about whatever you want. Stock down on the playoff committee?
Well, I had this whole thing prepared about this playoff committee. I thought we were talking about them right now. About
Go ahead, talk about them.
Dumb they are.
They are dumb.
I just have to get it out, guys. I can't.
The floor is yours, my friend. Take it.
It is unfathomable to me what they are doing. By the way, if the playoff committee, before the season started, or right as the season started, they said that they were going to use enhanced metrics and that they were going to take into consideration a couple of things going into the season. They outlined, this is what we are looking for right here. You guys know what that is? No? I'll read it to you. They said that they will take into consider head-to-head only in some occasions, apparently.
Unless it involves Notre Dame.
What?
Unless it involves Notre Dame.
Unless it involves Notre Dame, yes. Strength of record and strength of schedule. Those were the big ones that they wanted to account for. They said teams will be penalized less for losing to quality opponents, rewarded more for beating high-quality opponents, and rewarded less for beating lesser opponents. And then additionally, things such as injuries will weigh in.
Rewarded less for beating lesser opponents. Who's been at number one all year?
That is the outline that they gave us and said, hey, we are going to look at these things. I'm going to give you some metrics now. Okay. I'll start with the obvious bias one that I have in my mind. BYU, you guys, has the most wins against 7-win teams. They have beat 6 teams that have 7 wins or more so far. BYU has the most wins against bowl-eligible teams. BYU has the most wins against bowl-eligible teams on the road. Their strength of record, something that the committee said that they looked at, is 6. Strength of schedule is 28, and they are ranked 11th.
Just out.
Strength of schedule, 24. Strength of record, 5. Their rank, 7. Notre Dame, best win, USC, who maybe right at 20 or below for the playoff. We don't know. AP, they're 19. They have Pitt as well. They are 34 in strength of schedule. and 12 in strength of record. I don't understand how it makes any sense.
Yeah, but Chansley, BYU didn't blow out Syracuse 70-7. So I'm sorry. Try to blow out Syracuse next time you play them in 2035 with their backup quarterback.
Also, I'll throw this one out. Ole Miss, SOR, 7. Strength of schedule, 33.
Yeah,
it's crazy that if you have a name, it makes sense you're in the playoffs. If you don't have the name, good luck. So I'm just prepping BYU fans. If you do not win that conference championship game, you're out. No shot. You're gone. Just prepping it out. Prep yourselves. BYU if you're BYU, please give it your all in that game. Because if not, you're out. You're done. Utah, you're out. You're done. Don't even. Miami, who knows? Miami could even make it in at this point. But it doesn't make sense, too, that you have Oklahoma that has a head against Alabama. So that's why they're ahead of them. But then Miami, it doesn't apply to them and Notre Dame. I cannot understand why this committee defends Notre Dame the way that they do. It doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't make any sense. Like I obviously, well, both of us actually got reamed in the comments of the Notre Dame Navy game because we mentioned things like this. And it's not that Notre Dame's a bad team. They're obviously a very good team, but they haven't proven that they deserve this spot just by kicking terrible teams while they're down by 70. Nobody cares that you beat Syracuse when everyone in the ACC is beating Syracuse. This is honestly, so the year of COVID, they slid Notre Dame into the ACC and they counted them as an ACC team. They should just do that here and give them the ACC bid, one of the ACC bids. That's genuinely what they do.
I mean,
that would be do that to either SMU or Virginia or whoever gets that second spot, right? They should just slide them in that championship game, have them play versus whoever is the best team, and then they get the ACC bid. And that's what
I'm not even trying to say that. I agree with you, Chase. I'm not trying to say that they're a bad team. If you were trying to convince me that Notre Dame should be in because they're one of the 12 best teams, I'm here for it. I think that is a reasonable thing. And if it's whoever you think that the 12 best teams are get in, then I can get behind probably Notre Dame. I really can. But the thing that bothers me is this thing is supposed to be built on merit. What you did during the season, did somebody perform better than you, even if they aren't the better team? Did they perform better than you? And do they deserve to get in? And the answer is yes. Other teams have done better than Notre Dame. They didn't lose those 2 games, one of which was at home. And so you shouldn't be in. With the rest of your schedule, that was cupcake. The committee already said they don't value lesser team wins. They value these other metrics, and none of that says that Notre Dame should be in. So I don't get it. But if I wish the playoff committee would just say, hey, we're just going to pick the 12, what we think is the 12 best teams. I would be more okay with that. But because
the 12 most historically well-known
this is the outline, I don't get it.
With that too, like it disincentivizes playing against Notre Dame as a Power 4 team. Like, look, Miami beat them and they're not getting any benefit of the doubt here. Like, it didn't help them. They're not getting in either way is basically how the committee's looking at it right now. Is Miami's not making it with the same record as Notre Dame and a head-to-head win. They'd rather put Notre Dame in. So Notre Dame can schedule those games and lose them and get away with it. But Miami schedules it, wins, and they don't get any benefit. So as a Power 4 team, why would you want to schedule a game against Notre Dame? Because you know that even if you do win that game, it doesn't matter. It hurt Texas A&M a year ago too. Like they weren't going to make it anyway, but they were out earlier because they lost to Notre Dame. There's like no point in playing against them.
Yeah. I mean, I wish the committee would have just been honest and said, hey, preseason rankings matter. Hey, your name matters. Hey, these bogus 5 stars that we changed to 4 stars if you're not in one of those teams, those matter. I wish they would just say that because that's the honest truth. It's not about if you win football games. It's about, hey, are you Notre Dame and you win football games and you have all.
They basically lied. But truly, I think did they play 5 or 6 ACC games? That's
usually about what they do.
Yeah, they played, I think, 5 or 6 ACC games. They should just go to the ACC championship. They've played enough to be considered for it, and just play against the other bid, and then whoever gets that gets the bid. That's what it should be. So
one reason why I'm bringing this up right now, I don't know if you guys saw it today. December 1st was the deadline for the playoff, not the playoff committee, but the playoff format committee to decide what the format's going to be. It was due December 1st. They delayed it. So it got delayed to like January 23rd. You guys know why they delay it like that?
They're going to try to expand it again?
Because they want people to be pissed off. They want people to be pissed off that their teams didn't get in so they can be like, oh, we need to add more teams.
Yes, but I think they're also trying, besides December 1st, if you extend it to the 3rd, you get to see the results of the playoffs. So if you are the Big 12, if you're the ACC, if you're the Group of 5, you better hope that your teams win. Because if they get massacred, it's over. They're going to look at that at the end of the season and changes are going to be made and you're never going to make it in. Or if you make it in, your lower seeds are going to get all the Big 12. We might as well just be a super conference at that point, 2 super conferences. But you've got one last chance if you're there. You got to get some upsets. And I'm bringing this out to the voice of the people. Just raise your voices. Be insane maniacs. Do not let college football collapse. Make your voices heard now by the 23rd. Or, this specifically the Big Ten and the SEC commissioners are taking control of this. If you want to see something happen, either way, let them know because the 23rd, it's going to be finalized.
They need to not add more spots. Ridiculous, dude. Like you're just, at that point, there's no point in a regular season. There's really just no point in it. Just go straight to March Madness. That's stupid. So.
Yeah, I agree. Well, nobody wants it except for the big dogs who are just mad because it's being proven now on national stages that they're not as relevant as they thought they were.
All it is too is every time they always say, "Oh, but guys, I know you're a G5 team and you didn't make it this year, but if we add more spots, you'll make it." And then when push comes to shove, they push those teams out for a 3-loss Alabama, or a 2-loss. It's just to give extra cushion to those bigger brands like Ohio State.
That
Bama.
Nobody cares about, that nobody actually does genuinely. You honestly think that that people really want to see another outside of Notre Dame's fan base? You really think that there are so few people that exist outside of the bubble of Ohio State, Alabama, and Notre Dame that nobody would want to see in a good year, like in a legitimately good year, an SMU play? And there are people who actually love college football, our fans, us, people who really do love the sport, want to see those things. They want to see an Arizona State. They want to see a BYU. They want to see Washington in there. They want to see SMU. They want to see these other teams get in there because that's what's good for the sport, is to get new blood. If you can go and trace a trail back to the 1930s with Notre Dame, great. But there was a time when they had to build that reputation. Reputations rise and fall. If they're done, if they're resting on their laurels, let someone else take it. If someone knocks you out and someone else is on the rise, don't change the rules to protect 100 years of tradition just because you think they'll get mad. And that also might make you sound wrong as a commentator. Take it on the chin and be like, oh, hey, there's a new kid on the block. Maybe Louisville is going to be competitive this year. Maybe they actually are good. Maybe Baylor can do something. Why are we discounting them just because they don't have 100 years worth of pedigree back when those were the only towns that had telegraphs? It's madness. And unfortunately, it's going to take a lot more upsets to prove that they're not actually upsets. There are a lot of actually good football teams in the world. Hope to see it. Chance. Let's get all of our blood pressure down. Close it out.
All right. I'll make this one quick this week. How about that? The stock market. Hey, end of times are coming. So the stock market's almost going to be flatlined here soon. It's hard to say something's up or down when season's almost over, but we got a couple of them. I've got stock up on the Big 12 running backs. We talked about it a little bit, but crazy week for them. All of them will return to college football next year, which would be exciting. But you have 3 that ran for over 200 yards, and Malik Brown, Joe Jackson, and LJ Martin. So would be a fun Big 12 again to have those guys in there next year. Stock question mark, guys. Florida State. who lost again to NC State, and next week they play Florida, which would have been a preseason top 25 matchup. They are fighting for bowl eligibility, which is that maybe that's stock up because of last year. But more importantly, they retain their head coach, Mike Norvell. How do we feel about that?
What's the market like?
Yeah.
I
honestly...
I like.
I
said this in the preview, man. I like if there was improvement, which it doesn't take much to improve. I like keeping him, especially if he does get to bowl eligibility. Yeah, it was an embarrassing stretch in the middle, but ultimately he did improve over last year, and I don't know. I'm a Mike Norvell fan.
They're 2 games over last year with 1 game left. I don't know if that's really improvement.
Okay.
It's really more so that last year was such an outlier of being terrible. Like, yeah, you improved from 2 wins, but Florida State doesn't put up with 2 wins. They don't really put up with 6 wins usually. So this is like, if it was any other year and there was more coaches on the market, I would be like, this is insane to keep this dude. Yeah. But Wisconsin kept fickle too, and they've won 2 games since that they really shouldn't have. So I guess, see what there's no one else that wants to come there. Like, who are they going to get? Probably an assistant coach from somewhere, an offensive coordinator maybe. Like, they'd be basically taking a Hail Mary shot on somebody who's up and coming.
I agree. I think they only keep him because of the market. The market's so crazy right now that you don't know if you're going to land somebody better than him. Roll with the dice 1 more year because of that. All right. Stock down. Time of possession, Syracuse. Did you guys see this? The time of possession between the 2 teams?
Oh, God. Didn't they score like 21 points before they even got the ball?
So,
before their first offensive. I did see that. Yeah. Down 21-0
Notre Dame started the
game
with a pick 6.
Snap.
It was a pick 6, a punt return, and another pick 6 to start the game for Notre Dame. Guys, the time of possession was 41 minutes and 50 seconds to 18 minutes and 10 seconds in favor of Syracuse.
In favor of Syracuse?
Yeah. In favor of Syracuse.
They had the ball for so long, but then when Notre Dame got the ball, they just instantly score.
You go. So usually time of possession can help tell a story. You usually think, oh, they had more time. They probably won, or something may have gone wrong. This one told it in a completely different way, that Notre Dame just scored instantly, or they just scored in any other way possible besides their offense. The final score, by the way, 70-7.
Yeah.
Just one of the weirdest stats. Stock up. Diego Pavia, the guy all season told us that he was supposed to be the Heisman. Hasn't been considered the last couple weeks, so he went out and tried to show everybody that he is the Heisman by throwing 484 yards, 5 touchdowns, 48 rushing yards, and 1 touchdown. In fact, the coach tried to keep him out, and he said, "No, you're not keeping me out. I'm staying in." So he stayed in another possession to break the school record of passing yards.
Good for him.
Against Kentucky.
What? Against Kentucky,
Kentucky?
Yeah.
It's
I don't know if he's going to do it,
good
but
for
he's
him.
trying, man.
That's
He
a good
wants
defense.
that thing.
That's a good defense. Good for him.
Yeah. And then stock down, the worst possible scenario for Louisville, 3 losses in a row and only scoring 6 points against a defense that is not that good in SMU. That is their fewest points in the season, and that is the lowest that SMU has given up in the season. Worst comes to shove, Miller Moss out, Isaac Brown out, and others. What looked like a playoff team just a couple weeks ago is now barely a bowl eligible team. So unfortunately, stock down for them, and that is your stock market this week.
All right, guys. This has been the Week 13 recap. We're going into Week 14, the last week of the regular season. It's crazy that we're already here. It is rivalry week. It is a big, big week. It is holidays. It is pie. It is turkey. It is potatoes. It is football. This is America, and we are going to tell you all about what's coming up. And we have a special fun segment that we're doing right at the end. So stick around. We'll see you in the next episode. This has been the Concussion Protocol Podcast, Week 13 recap.